Hello, everybody, and welcome back for the October edition of the World Warrior Canada West bracket. I'm Jonathan Batman Hat. You guys might have seen me on the previous broadcast, but if you haven't, I'm just a caster for Edmonton, Canada, and I have had a joy of casting this. Now, if you have came in before, we are unfortunately missing Coins today. He's in the middle of moving to Australia. But we found an absolutely wonderful fill. If you guys have watched anything Wednesday Night Fight released, I'm sure you've seen it before. We got Mr. Mistopheles over here, the Demon King himself. I'm so glad to have you joining us today.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier to be here. It's always a great time over on the WNF channel, and it's really wonderful to have these World Warrior events so that we can showcase some of the talent that we don't always get to see. You know, if you watch CPT Premier events, there are a lot of top-level players that tend to always make top 8, and obviously, to some degree, parity is a good thing. So having this opportunity for these smaller, more regional events to showcase some of the talent that spreads further than you might always see is a great time. And speaking of which, let's run down the top 8 that we have going on tonight. Now, as a caveat, I do want to tell everybody that unfortunately Sarah Blast will not be able to join us tonight. She has to DQ. Hopefully everything's okay. But we do have the rest of the top 8 filling out. So Loanator was supposed to fight her, so he will get a bye. And then we have Mortzy versus Super Friends, and then Klond versus Muck, Viraj versus White Gun. That rounds out the lower half of the bracket, but that will be our top 8 getting into it. And before we do that, I do want to remind you guys, we do have a Match Reno, !Match Reno in the chat. We'll give you a link to tonight's Match Reno to help support these players. And of course, we are brought to you by Fresh Cut, also sponsored by Vancouver Street Battle. They're the ones helping organize all of this stuff. So thank you guys so much. And let's get into this first match.
I know our first match should be pretty good. We got Mortzy going up against Super Friends. So this is actually a pretty important match, particularly for Super Friends, because actually him and the Loanator are actually competing for 4th and 5th, because we're missing some really key guys today, Noodle and Bumba Snuff. Bumba Snuff is currently 4th and Noodle is in 6th. So with these two missing, they've actually kind of stunted their points. So if Super Friends is able to take it here, he kind of catches up on that deficit that Loanator's been able to set on him, and he's actually going to be able to compete for 4th here. Now, Mortzy, on the other hand, our top 3 is pretty much set. We have Sarah Blast, Mortzy, White Gun. I don't think that's really going to change too much, but if Mortzy is able to take this, he's going to get a huge lead on White Gun, because right now those two are fighting for 2nd and 3rd, and it is like maybe a little bit less important for like him to win compared to say Super Friends here. But if he is able to get that lead on White Gun, and with Sarah Blast missing, he might even be able to take the whole thing. So this is a really important match for two of them, but I think Super Friends has a lot more to lose here, because if he is able to take this, he gets that lead and will be able to get himself potentially up into 4th at the moment.
Okay, yeah, there's a big opportunity for a lot of shakeup in the rankings. That's something that I think is so good about having these World Warrior events too. You know, it's not just a couple tournaments, it's not just one tournament. You've got a whole series spread over the course of 5 months leading up to the regional finals in December. And so there's just players have the chance that if they really grind it out and make an effort to improve, keep coming back, they can really shake that up. So let's get into this. We have Mortzy versus Super Friends. Now this is the Fong versus Ryu matchup. Now it is important to note that Mortzy is one of the very best Fongs in the world. I would say top 3. So if anybody's going to have the rundown on this matchup, it is going to be him. He won't get caught off guard by anything Ryu related. How do you feel about this matchup on paper?
On paper, between these two, I think it's a typical match. We've seen Fang does have to use kind of unique tools to get around, but actually I think it's more interesting here to highlight the players, because Super Friends is a fundamental Ryu. His tag actually used to be Flowchart Ryu, because this man plays fundamental Ryu to the key. And obviously Mortzy does know how to play around that a little bit, but you're going to see Super Friends is just going to use keep out crouching medium kick, fireball game, and if you want to see how to pilot Ryu, you're going to see it right here. So it's going to be kind of down to actually can Mortzy kind of break down that wall Super Friends is putting up, and will be able to get in.
Okay, man, and already we see the early activation here from Mortzy, throwing down the cloud, and able to get out is Super Friends, but gets caught on the tail end of that mine, and now trying to close this round out is Mortzy, and the down short will do it. Just a little toe tap right at the end. He caught him asleep at the wheel.
Oh, exactly. No, great play there from Mortzy early on, but you were kind of able to see that Super Friends was able to play that kind of keep-out game earlier. Great DPs to stop the anti-airs, but that's where the adaptations that Mortzy is making are in. He's able to kind of slowly approach, bridge that gap, but now we are kind of back to this neutral situation where Super Friends actually has looked fairly in control, which is a awesome to him. Yeah. You'll love to see it.
Yeah, you were talking about this super fundamental play, and we see a random Tatsu neutral. Now, it did work out in his favor, but that has kind of put a little bit of a damper on the praise that you were offering him. And now, right now, Mortzy trying to fight his way out of the corner here, actually gets a side switch too. What great awareness there to get the follow-up. And now we see there's a little bit of pressure on Morty's side. He is low on life. The V-trigger is active, but how's he going to try and make this comeback? It's a big life deficit.
Oh, but he did manage to get out. I was about to highlight, yeah, Morty's pretty good at keeping people in the corner, but Super Friends does manage to find that way out. Great anti-air DP, and now he's reset the corner pressure. He gets game to win, and he does manage to seal the deal with the fireball, hitting him out of the poison.
Right, tied up at 1 round apiece here. Who will be the first to draw blood, get that all-important life lead? Even though this is all first to 3 here, but nevertheless, having that kind of momentum, getting into weird situation there after the uppercut. Obviously, he's going to take the damage, take the poison, but just couldn't capitalize on that any further because it actually juggled him. And now Morty's able to get the back throw here, push him slightly past midpoint in the screen, and gets the knockdown with the EX sleeves.
Exactly. Now, this is the thing Super Friends as a player does like to do. Yeah, he does play that fundamental flowchart Ryu, but he loves going for hard reads. He will dash up and he will do DP, but it's never just like kind of a really random thing. He's usually doing it based on like a situation. But instead of going for the safer option, now he just walks up and does DP. Oh my god, this situation. Oh, he dropped it. That was so huge. DP.
Oh my gosh. Oh, he blocks the incident. Oh no, another miss.
Okay,
oh my
now they're
gosh,
just
there's
down.
So much spaghetti here. How is somebody going to close this out? They need to be more poised, more composed, and Morty ultimately does it. Another toe tap, hitting him with the penny loafers. He takes first game rather.
Exactly. No, just a huge scramble there at the end. But as you can see, like, those Super Friends is kind of that neutral situation. He is able to create this scramble situations, and he actually does look pretty comfortable in them. But you are playing against our current 3rd player on the leaderboard, Morty, who has made it to top 3 almost every single bracket so far. So if anybody else is going to be comfortable knows, it's the Fang Master himself.
Wow, what a whiff punish there. Able to buffer the down medium punch from that range. And now that's something that is not easy to do. Ryu's crouching medium kick recovers in 13 frames. That is virtually impossible to actually whiff punish on reaction. So for him to have the mental wherewithal to poke out there in that range and just buffer it, really great stuff from Morty here. But he is hurting a bit. There's the forward throw after the double dash. And now in control is Super Friends.
Exactly. Oh, but he gets the activation on there. Now Morty's looking to turn this around. This is his moment. He needs to turn this around, but no, the V reversal does come down from Super Friends, and he's looking very comfortable here, sniping away from the pressure. But now, Super Friends, one more situation, really only needs, knocks him out of the air, but Morty does get the hit. And he's looking to try and get something started.
My man said forward, down, forward, punch. If you're gonna rush in here face first, you are gonna get one right to the jaw. And Super Friends looking to maybe tie this up at 1 game apiece here, but he needs to keep this momentum on his side. So far, he's doing pretty good. He's got a significant life lead just from fireballs.
Exactly. Yeah, he's just kind of slowly chipping away at Morty. He's doing a really good job of kind of calling out when Morty wants to send out the poison, and he's getting the trade damage with the fireballs. So he's kind of able to keep that up. Yeah, get good whip punishes like that. He's going to get a lot of reward here. But now Morty is on the offense. Great throw escape here, and Super Friends just resetting in neutral. He knows where he's winning this matchup, and he's trying his best to just keep playing around it.
Oh man, getting caught by the EX sleeve. It's so strong. Whether on hit or on block, obviously you want it to land, but just the screen position that it gets you, the chip damage that it nets you, even if it's blocked, so strong for Fong. But jumping at an errant time, there is Morty. Super Friends taking advantage there with the big DP, and now look at how he's swung things around, and he has the life lead.
Oh, exactly. I mean, that is kind of a key thing, the sleeves that he's using, because Super Friends is just playing around this range the entire time, and sleeves does take that away. So I think if Morty can maybe lean on that a bit more, he might be able to get some advantages. But Super Friends just... Oh, my God!
He's dead!
Oh, he's dead, too! All right, you know what? That was sick. Great adaptation to the ranges Super Friends is liking to use his moves, and then just a absolutely gorgeous conversion. There was no other way to put that.
I think that buff maybe came in like season 3 or season 4, but Fong having the ability to cancel the recovery of his up balls into the EX command dash was such a big change for the way that he can convert in neutral, because sometimes that was tough for him, right? But suddenly, if you're able to actually clip that long range, you can get a full combo, full screen, and that's what we saw Morty do right there. He does get knocked down for his troubles here, but another whiff punish.
Yeah, they just got to reset back to neutral here. Super Friends wants to get back to neutral here, but Morty is pressuring. Oh, wow. DP and chipped him on the end of it. Morty almost didn't believe he did it there. Oh, Super Friends charges up the fireball, just looking to kind of add up this chip damage. Going back to his comfortable range, playing around the sleeves. Great fireball. Oh, he gets the jump in, does get the punish on the whiff, though. And actually, it looks like Morty's going to put him in the corner. Probably not kill right off of this, but one more situation is all of he needs. And he was in front of him. Down. That was
cheap. How do you know? If you're not a Fong player, how do you know?
Like, no, that was absolutely
this character's cheap. Don't listen to anybody. This character's cheap. Good stuff to Mortsy. He goes up 2-0, and Super Friends is going to have to dig deep. His Ryu's not looking bad, but it's been difficult for him to try and close out rounds. And I do think that's something that Fong excels at. He's so slippery in so many ways, whether it's the way that he's approaching neutral or defensively. You know, you can take a lot of damage that you aren't really, like, cognizant of. Like, before you know it, you might take, look, he's already taken 30-40% damage, and it's like, what even happened?
No, exactly. Just that great advantage he gains off there. And then Mortsy's offense, I think it's just been better overall than Super Friends. Like, Super Friends able to keep him out neutral. That was unfortunate, but he's able to get that out. But the minute Mortsy's able to get his offense started, he's getting so much more damage. Now, these kind of jump-ins are not paying off here, but he is looking to try and get Super Friends to kind of goad him into action and then maybe find his opportunity to go in. But another one!
Man, that hurts, too. It's not just a little bit of a chunk. That's a heavy DP. That's a cool probably 170 damage. Ryu is just making it hurt every time he jumps, but there he got clipped. He's able to get a conversion there, but not quite dead yet. There's a little bit of V-trigger left on Super Friend's side. He gets the knockdown, and he's got him caged in the corner. How's he going to capitalize? How's he going to try and draw this back from the brink of defeat?
Oh, he blocked it over and against him. There we go. Great defense is rewarded today. And Super Friends does manage to get himself up in the round, but man, he needs to keep this up because he needs to, it's a full run back here. He needs 3 entire games, but this is how you get it started.
It's going to have to be a full sweep, which is not an easy task against anybody, let alone somebody of Mortsy's caliber. Big crush counter there, interrupted the startup of what looks like maybe a stand medium punch, forward heavy punch, something like that. He uses a V reversal there just to get him off of him, and he's able to escape the corner. He can breathe a little easier now.
Exactly. No, he's got the pressure started. Throw comes down here from Super Friends. Now he just kind of needs to keep Mortsy stuck in that corner here, but Mortsy does get his escape, and this is really, really bad for Super Friends. Oh, but he did manage to get it out, but no, the conversions here from Mortsy, and it looked like Super Friends was going to maybe have a little bit of a comeback there, but he's now just stuck in a position where he just doesn't want to be, and oh, it's the scramble situations. This is all Mortsy right now. Universal comes down, and another one, spending all the meter. We've reset back to neutral. This is where Super Friends is comfortable. He needs to play around this if he wants to get that victory. Now Mortsy doesn't like the conversions. Are you kidding me?
He is so aware, baiting it out that time, able to get the sleeves juggle at the end, and Mortsy 1 round away from taking this in a clean 3-0 over Super Friends.
Oh, exactly. That round looking entirely different than the first. Super Friend needs to dig deep, get this victory on the board, doesn't want to go down 3-0.
Okay, all right, putting down the mine there. There's another EX sleeve. It is safe. Walks back just a little bit, catching Super Friends overextending. There's a V reversal, and now you can tell he's getting a little desperate. There's a good DP, very good awareness, good defensive composure there in that particular situation. There's another V reversal. Now we're fighting past the midpoint of the screen, but the EX sleeves gets the knockdown. A
great knockdown there from Mortsy, getting kind of exploiting that range that Super Friends wants to play. And oh, the throw out of that! Excuse me.
It's all right. Runs into a fireball for his trouble. There's a parry. We haven't really seen that much as an option, though it can be very risky to do against a character like Fong because he's so stagger heavy, so many weird like situations of attack. Oh, is that gonna catch him? No, the V-shift break gets him off, and now Super Friends trying to throw these fireballs, just gain a little bit of real estate. That throw did a bunch.
Oh, the whip punish with the fireball.
Wow. Shades of Super Turbo, just using that as a long-range poke, extending that hurt box with something that can't quite be interacted with in the same way, and Super Friends puts a game on the board. He is not dead yet. A little bit of life into those sails.
Yeah, and again, a very, very important match here for Super Friends, because if he is able to get into winner's final, he's going to even out the points that Lowinator got, and then they can actually just fully compete for 4th. So he really needs this match. For Mortsy, it doesn't matter, honestly, too much. It's just going to give him a lead against White Gun, but for Super Friends, this is so important. He needs to get this comeback.
Oh, interrupts the stagger pressure there, gets the knockdown, medium kick Tatsu follow-up. All right, there's the crush counter sweep. There's the ever-important knockdown for Ryu off EX Fireball, one of his strongest win conditions, so he can just get that offense rolling like a giant boulder. But Mortsy's staying composed. He's not overextending too much, and he sneaks himself out of the corner there. Slippery.
That kind of locked down. A Super Friends great throw break. Oh, the anti-air barely chips on the top there, and Mortsy's corner offense has started. Super Friends has actually done a great job of escaping from these situations so far, but if Mortsy's able to lock him down, it's going to spool doom for him, and the final hit comes down, finishes it off the light conversions, and that is looking great, and that is definitely different than what we've seen in the corner before, because Super Friends has gotten out almost every single time, but Mortsy's able to get it down at the really important time.
Yeah, and that's something I talked about earlier, right, in their match. It's like, Super Friends is playing well, but he's just not quite able to close it out. And I think that shows this high-level experience and this comfortability is absolutely in Mortsy's favor. Super Friends just isn't quite at this kind of experience yet. What a conversion there in neutral.
Woody's looking good too. Yeah, so Mortsy has locked him down at the corner here again. We'll see if history repeats itself. And yeah, it's looking good here. This is where Super Friends has usually gotta gone down. And he gets out. Oh no, doesn't get the escape that time. Punish on the air Tatsu. And Via Russell comes down, and it's kind of all Mortzy right now. The life lead has gone in his favor. Super Friends is in dire straits, trying his best to reset to neutral, get back to that comfort zone. But he gets hit, chipped by the poison. It's coming down, and one more interaction from Mortzy is all he needs. It's down to a throw now. Crunch counter, and he just needs to get this offense started, get out. No, the trade is coming in. He wins the DP.
He bet it all. I don't blame him there right at the end, but again, in that key moment in the 12th hour, Mortzy was able to restrain himself, not overextend, and that little bit of hesitation was what was able to close it out, not give the opportunity for any sort of comeback to Super Friends. He will move on down to the lower bracket. Mortzy moves on to winners finals.
Exactly. And that was actually a key thing there too. Like that random DP actually was working for probably the first, like I'd say 3 rounds, but in the last 2 games, it was just not at all. Like he would go for that call out, Mortz completely adapted to it, and then he decided to bet his entire life on it. So admittedly, probably not the best situation based on what was happening. Like if he did it earlier in the game, sure, but that was an option Mortz completely understood, and he just went for it. But without further ado, I think it's time to go down to our losers run round. And actually, I do want to talk about it. We got Sionde versus Muck. So Sionde actually is this first time in the bracket. He's never entered before, and he's made it all the way to top 8. Wow. And he took out Keto, who is our current 8th place member on the leaderboard. So it's absolutely insane. He just showed up. Now, unfortunately, because he did miss the first 3 games, it's likely he doesn't make top 8 even if he attends next month. But that means he is the ultimate wild card. He is here to ruin people's day. And the person he's facing today is the one he could probably ruin the most. Muck. He did it. He finally did it. He made it into top 8. He's been 1 game off the last 2 matches. He's our other main Saskatchewan representative. Super Friends and him enter almost every tournament together, but Muck has been just so close to top 8 every time. But he is currently sitting down at 13th. Now that sounds kind of dire, but because of all the people we're missing today, he can slide in. Now he does need to do really well, and if he does manage to make it in for the next one, he might actually be able to squeeze his way into top 8 because of the people we're missing today. So he has everything to lose here. He finally did it, but he's in the most pressure situation I think he could be in.
Yeah, of course. I think you really hit the nail on the head, right? Muck really wants to... I mean, regardless if there are points for a qualifier on the line or not, if you make it into top 8, you don't want to bust her out. Whether that means that you're on loser's side and you lose your first match, or you're on winners and you go 0-2. You want to prove that there's a reason you're supposed to be there. And it's especially important for him because, just like you said, this is an opportunity to try and sneak into that top 8. And if he gets a win here over Sionde, it can be a big situation for him to secure a little more comfortability, a little more padding, so that he can try and scoot on up in there and make his claim in that top 8 regional final. We are getting ready to get into the next match here. Again, this is loser's side bracket. So whoever loses this, they lose the first of 3, they are out of it. It's going to be Blanca versus Zangief.
Yeah, not a matchup we've got to see too much. I'm actually really excited for able to see Muck because this guy's a really creative Blanca player. He's good at using the tools, and he's good at navigating himself around in neutral. So you're going to see a lot of change-ups, and kind of he's almost going to make Cyanide because I have to dedicate himself to some options here.
Sure. So so I think just on paper, this matchup is really tough for Zangief, simply because of the ways that there is that, but it's like you kind of have to, I don't know, you could probably do that on reaction, but I still feel like it's tough for Zangief to approach in neutral because Blanca is so tricky. But I mean, right now Muck is jumping in situations where he doesn't have to. He's getting caught in these weird circumstances, and just like that, there is another SPD for his trouble. That is, I think that was the medium one. Oh, is he stunned? He's stunned. Not quite.
No, not quite. That's one more chance. Oh, break on the throw. Oh, he just dashed up SPD. Are you kidding me?
Wow, he was asleep at the wheel. That's something you have to be looking out for there, right? Zangief has a very, very slow dash. Obviously, he was concerned, how am I going to try and get this V-trigger activation? How am I going to try and make this comeback? But you got to be ready for that dash.
Yeah, and it's also shown that he knows kind of where to punish the Blanca balls as well. So Muck is probably going to be a little bit more scared to start throwing them out here. And as I say that, he just does too, but...
yeah.
But it is kind of overall looking, he's kind of trying playing around that V-skill 2 a bit more, play the keep out game. Because the minute Sionde gets on top of him, it is just all for him.
Oh, man. Yeah, you cannot do that in a block string. If you're going to go for, if you're going to go for those Blanca balls in neutral, it has to be just raw, because if you give him any sort of preamble to get a read on it, it's going to get punished every single time. We've seen him already twice do flex into dash up SPD.
Exactly. And yeah, no, Muck is kind of adapting to that. He's dropped playing this kind of close range game, he's focusing on just hitting the V-skill 2 and then going to block the ball. Now obviously he's going for his mix-ups here because he's in a chance to do it, but I think for the rest of this round, we're just going to see him play back, look for a whip punish, and then maybe look for a V-trigger 2 hit.
Oh, he was able to get over it. There is still a ton of V-trigger, and he decides to spend it, and I do not blame him. He's close to building up another bar, but it's so important to get that round, stop the momentum. Now you can reset back to neutral, make it hopefully a little more difficult for Zangief to get some footing and get things started. The triple dash
into his face. Okay, he was playing range before, but he's completely thrown that game plan away. And unfortunately, he is now in Zangief's comfort zone. Oh, he's starting to react out with the flex too. I love the small adaptations what these players are making so far. They're making all the world a difference.
Okay, there it is. He's out of range, not able to get punished there, and he gets a full screen conversion, and that's such a strong benefit of V-skill 2. I do think V-skill 2 in this match. Oh, that's a real punish.
That's sick. That's sick.
Okay, look at that damage. Now he has V-trigger locked and loaded with a full chamber. How's he going to approach? Oh my god, he blocked it all!
Oh, he hit him with the overhead too. All the flex damage is adding up. No, he needs one more interaction here. Come on, get it. He went for the side switch grab, and then he just anti-airs him out of that. Chaos. Absolutely chaos in the end, but Muck thrives in it and is able to get the conversions when he needs.
He put himself in the corner against V-trigger Zangief.
Yeah.
This man doesn't care about anything. Canada West has no morals. There is no bounds. They don't care. I can't believe it.
I mean, if it worked, right? It's good.
Yeah. Okay, he takes the first game, and you described it very, very well, John. It was absolute chaos there right at the end. Okay, he fell. Yep, not able to get the punish there with the lariat. Yeah, he doesn't know how to deal with flex.
Yeah, no, he's really just kind of floundering on it. Now, I don't think Sandy's getting like much off of it, though, is the problem. Like, he is blocking these sweeps and stuff like that, but then no punish is kind of coming afterwards.
All right, he is getting some mileage. Oh, he actually clips him on the recovery of what I believe is like a stand medium punch from Zangief. Now, he is very, very low on life. He's able to check him out of his pressure there. Backs off. But, man, you do have to be careful. That can be V-trigger. Yeah.
Oh, he did.
Oh, wow. Yeah, good chunk of damage there right at the end. The Blanca ball, full screen, able to seal the deal. And now another round on the board for Muck, hoping to go up 2-0 over Siande.
Yeah, no, he's looking pretty good so far. Ooh. He's really just focusing on this kind of ranged game right now. I think it's up to Siande to just try and get in on that. But I think Muck has kind of found his win condition, and then he's not really sticking to it. He goes to it for a bit, and then he just decides to go completely on the offense. And Siande has finally reacted to it. This is his opportunity to keep it on. Last time Muck was in this position, he faltered. He's gotten SPD'd again, and Siande's probably going to go for the dash and just do it again. No, the flex going for the hard call-up, but Muck does manage to escape with the Blanca balls.
Yes, using that EX Rainbow Ball just to get out of there, not even deal with any sort of mix-up. That is a big benefit that Blanca has in this matchup. Otherwise, it's tough. I actually misspoke earlier. I wasn't thinking clearly. This is clearly a hard matchup for Blanca, but he does have the mobility, whereas most characters don't quite have that. To deal with Zangief, right? You know, he just gets to walk you down slowly, menacingly, kind of like Michael Myers in the fashion of Halloween coming up next week. He is stalking his prey.
Exactly, stalking it, going on it, just zoning him out, and oh my god, he got the hit again. And he goes in, yeah, this is the second time he's put that in with that interaction. Siande's kind of stuck in the corner here, gets the conversion, gets more in the corner. And it's one more hit. What's he going to do? Does he go for the side switch again? No, just backs off, choosing to play it. Well, I was going to say safe, but no, he just dashes in, gets the hit, and Muck is up 2-0 over Siande.
Yeah, what a situation there right at the end. He smelled blood. He knew that he couldn't really give him the chance to get out of the corner there, because once you give Zangief just a little bit of ground where he can gain some confidence, it becomes 10 times scarier for you. If you're playing a grappler that has confidence, you better be running for your life, because the moment that they get a hard read, it is going south even quicker. So, but right now, Siande is put on the back foot here in a tough spot, not able to get a conversion there, and he actually checks the dash set this time. Good punish.
And he's starting to get the pressure on. Ooh, the tick throw. All right, I think Muck is just going to keep the offense on here. He hasn't opted to back off, blocks all the flicks, and then just goes for the trade on it. And they're just whiffing so many things. My heart is just like in my mouth, like when this is happening, because they're just in each other's face. I'm like, this guy's going to get SPD. This guy's going to get SPD.
Okay. Oh, there's the V-shift breakout like that. Big amount of gray damage there, but that is a big conversion. And you get, he decided to charge it up. I respect it.
Yeah, just play around. I mean, he kind of looked like he was going towards playing around the range with that activation, but no, he just opts to just go in. You just play it safe. He doesn't really need to do anything super risky. Let's see how they hang himself. Oh, I think he was trying to maybe go for the anti-air there. Oh, he's trying to bait the jumps, but no, it's worked out. This is Yande's opportunity, needs to make this work. Has all the Oki in the world at the moment, just looking for one more opportunity, but no, Muck denies him that and gets the first round of the set.
Stiande was not patient enough to just block it out and continue walking him down. Not even going to punish there, pushes him back far enough. He recovers a little bit quicker off of the EX Blanca ball. But trying to gain some ground here is Stiande. Gets thrown for his trouble. Now we're past the midpoint in the screen. Muck controlling the positioning a little bit better. Big crush counter here, able to get a follow up and look at the damage. But more importantly, look at the real estate he's controlling. He's got a whole screen behind him to work with.
And he's just one more hit. Oh, he side switch punishes the flex and the stun comes down.
Oh, he's super dead. Super dead. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the trigger damage. Oh, it just does it twice in a perfect KO.
It's so good. Yes, that being able to get the V skill 2 twice there in the corner. And then he also still had a Blanca ball after that was coming. So just great awareness there. I like the V skill 2 usage. In what I truly think is a hard matchup for Blanca, it just showed that he has matchup awareness, and that same sort of experience and knowledge isn't really there for Stiande. So unfortunately, he will bow out and tied for 7th place. But he does get a little bit of points. Something to help bring him a little bit closer to hopefully securing a spot in that top 8 coming forward at the regional finals in December. But for right now, he's not going to collect any more today. He's going to go make himself a sandwich, be a little sad on the couch, kick his feet up, maybe say some swears, and watch the rest of the tournament.
Oh, exactly. And that was a very key victory for Muck too, because he's now secured himself at least 25 points. Now, I did some rough number crunching. It's not accurate, but I think what you roughly need is 65 points to get into top 8. Now, Muck is only at 31 because he unfortunately went out very early in the very first event and then barely didn't make it the second two. So he secured himself at least 25 points. Now, if he keeps going, I don't think he's going to be able to squeak into top 8 because he's probably going to either run into Wycon or Mortzy. But on the because I think he has to get 4th. It is 4th or 3rd in order to secure himself a spot. So that's a very important victory. It gets him some more points today. And I think I'm excited to see him go up against it. But he is going up against Super Friends, so we will have Saskatchewan team kill. But without further ado, we're going on to our next losers round match. And this is the underdog story of the century. I highlighted it last time Viraj made into top 8. He is 41 years young. This man is from Alberta. He's my only Alberta entry, and he's been playing Street Fighter since I think 1991. Now, Street Fighter 5 is the first game he's put like a lot of time into, so it's awesome to see him here. Now, he did message me. He's like, I don't belong here. I got some DQs and stuff, man. But I'm like, no, it's sick to be here.
We take those.
And actually, he's currently sitting at 10th on the leaderboard. Now, because we are missing so many people. Yeah, he's doing great. And if actually he gets top 8 no matter what. Like, he can lose this match and he'll squeak into top 8. But if he does manage to beat Wycon, which is no easy task, he's in second. He also gets a bye right after this, and then he moves on to loser semifinals. So Viraj, by the glory of whatever God you believe in, makes it in to loser semis. He's actually going to probably get 6th place on the leaderboard very handedly. Yeah. But he's got to play Wycon, who is the craziest player I have ever seen, and who's currently fighting with Mortzy for 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah, I've been paying attention to these Canada West events, and White Gun is just absolutely shooting from the hip. Honestly, it reminds me a lot of Geeko from the EU scene. They're from Italy, playing in the Salt Mine League events a lot, and just very shoot from the hip Cammy style. And okay, there's a big dive kick there right at the beginning, able to get a knockdown, and more importantly, just position themselves comfortably as they put Dulcim in the corner here and Viraj fighting for his life.
Exactly. So a big thing Wycon likes to do first is he just checks his opponent's anti-airs. He sees if they're dealing with dive kick. He sees if they can deal with his variable timing. And if they aren't, he just blows you up. And that is precisely what happened here. Viraj was looking good for a little bit at the beginning, but he did then get kind of run over. Because the minute Wycon gets the hit, you are in the proverbial, let's just say, not right zone. It is scary. It's terrifying. He's going to dive kick you, and he's going to just schmix you until the end of days. Even though he's playing Cammy, the pressure is insane. But if you are able to adapt to his anti-air timing and kind of shut him down a bit, he's forced to a more grounded approach, and he's a little bit less scary there. But you have to show you can do it. Unfortunately, Viraj has not shown that so far, and it's been all White Gun.
Oh man, super meaty back medium punch there, able to get the stun. Now this is going to, oh no, not quite. All right. Oh, and the instant air dive kick, that is so cheap. It looks like it's going to go over your head, and it doesn't matter how small your hurtbox is. You are getting caught in the dome if you're holding the opposite direction. In very quick fashion, White Gun takes it over Viraj. That is the first game on the board in what seemed like maybe 35 seconds between like both rounds combined.
I feel like that's a dynamic of this matchup as well too. Like,
for sure,
if Cammy is able to get in, get that hit, Dawson's made of glass. He just explodes. But otherwise, then we have kind of a long, kind of drawn out game as the Dawson goes on it. Now, unfortunately, yeah, with his white gun, and he just anti-airs that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Stand fierce from downtown. Keep your hands to yourself. This is a no PDA zone. Backing out of there is V-Rush. The down medium punch to clip him, keep him at bay just a little bit, but how long can he stave this off?
Oh, he does get the hits now. Actually, V-Raj's defense has been good so far. Oh, he doesn't get the punish on that, but he's reset the neutral. He just needs to keep White Gun off of him so far. And White Gun always punishing the float so far, just not letting it happen. Oh, now that slide was a little risky.
Yeah, there's a big counter hit conversion here. Trapped in the corner is V-Rush, trying to slide out for his life. No such luck. The EX spiral arrow seals the deal, and another round on the board for White Gun. This one took a little bit longer, but still not even half a round.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, it's a small improvement so far. And honestly, when you are kind of put up against this thing, because I mean, V-Raj, unfortunately, it's just Ultra Plat going up against an Ultra Grandmaster. So it's kind of like you got to take those small victories you can. And he is starting to deal with the anti-air, the jump ins a little bit more. And he is getting conversions. He's looking very strong so far, but he needs to keep White Gun in the corner. And he just backs off and unfortunately lets him out. But keeping White Gun there is very terrifying. So you know what? I kind of respect it.
I'm very impressed with his defense. He's blocking all this out, able to get a V-shift there, not quite in the right range to punish, but man, White Gun is just so ready with that stand fierce, even though it has been nerfed. The only thing that was nerfed about it was the lingering hurt box after it whipped. It is still an exceptionally strong whip punish tool against every character. Okay, blocks it out this time, but gets back thrown for his trouble, not even able to get stunned. And in just about the same amount of time, White Gun takes that next round. That is 2 straight for him.
Exactly. And I mean, the kind of a key thing is it has been fun to watch V-Rush because he's actually doing a great job of blocking a lot of these moves. He is getting whiff punish and his offense isn't able to really get started, but he is blocking a lot. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't sound impressive, but when you're facing someone like White Gun, that is because he is dive kicking you. He's low. He's hitting you lows. Like, it's kind of just continuous mix-ups, just nonstop. So when you're able to block someone like this, that's a really good sign because then you just sit down, you work on your neutral, you work on your offense, and then V-Rush is just going to be such a solid player because defense is so hard to learn.
Okay, a little bit of an errant execution error there. Oh, big counter hit combo. Put him in the corner. That stun is racking up. It is knocking at the door. Will he answer? The back door force trouble, and now he's out there. He's got so much real estate to work with. He backs off. I respect this. He gets clipped, and now the next interaction will absolutely kill another DP. He hasn't missed a single one tonight. He is churning that butter. He is mashing that input, making sure it comes out. No faltering.
Exactly. Yeah, no, just not letting him get started. But V-Raj, he doesn't get the anti-air there. So I think it's just down to the key of like, can he deny these? And he's doing a good job so far. This has probably been the best round so far. He's gotten it started off, and that sweep is a little ambitious, but he is managing the blocks. So he jumps over, but gets DP'd for his punish.
Every time he is not missing. I really like the stand jab there. He unfortunately puts himself in the corner, but he's still got a little bit of a life lead, not so much anymore. And now this pressure, this onslaught from White Gun keeps going. There is the 4-piece combo off of the jabs, forced V-Rush there to try and gain some ground back, but he is still in a bad spot. Puts him in the corner this time.
Okay, he did manage to slide out there. That was kind of sick, but White Gun has activation here. Oh, he gets the hit. No! Oh, I think I was a misinput there, unfortunately. Going to be the conversion. That is White Gun taking it today. And unfortunately, stifling the dreams of V-Raj. But my guy is 41 years young. He made it out in the top 8. This is his second top 8, guys. This is actually super sick. Yeah. And he actually managed to squeak into, I think he ties for, I think 8th with Keto.
Okay.
On our leaderboard. So, because he does get out of here with 20 points, and he was currently sitting at 45. I think it was. Yeah, so he does manage to tie it up with Keto there. I think he will end up in 9th because of how the results went, but still, you're doing incredible today, and it's awesome to see. But that was also a key victory for White Gun. He's now secured himself a bye in the next round, and he moves on to loser semis. And he is competing with Mortzy right now for those points. And with Ceroblast missing, that first place is now actually open. Because at the moment, Ceroblast is 50 points above both these players. But because Ceroblast isn't here today, that means back in the next one, we're actually potentially going to see a fight for first, which on paper was like unheard of because honestly, Ceroblast has been kind of dominating the whole thing so far.
She's a very, very strong player, very, very strong Ken. But it is important to note that for anybody who is trying to vie for that top 8 spot, we have one more event after this one. So depending on how this shakes up, that will determine the standings going into November's last ranking event until the regional finals in December. So if you are somebody who is trying to get into maybe that top 8 spot, you're in like top 16, top 32 range, and you can perform well enough in this next event you could potentially get in there, but you need to make sure that you sign up. So if you use exclamation point, probably World Warrior in the chat, there might be a thing for it. Or if you just go to the Start GG website, like the actual bracket page for this tournament, there will be a way that you can sign up for the league. Make sure you do that. You don't want to sleep on it. What's the next match we have coming up?
Our next matchup coming up, it looks like we're going to have Super Friends versus Muck. So this is unfortunately the Saskatchewan team kill.
Yes.
I've talked about Muck finally made it. He finally did it to join Super Friends in the top 8, and then they immediately have to team kill each other.
Yes.
But this is a fun match because these two have played each other a bunch. So you got that kind of like fundamental Ryu who does like his hard callouts, and Muck who likes to use very crazy options and go for some just honestly insane things. So these players really interact with each other in a very meaningful way. A lot of the time it is Muck just trying to get in and get started, but the minute he gets started, even someone like Super Friends does tend to crumble a little bit.
I'll be interested to see. I think this matchup is definitely in Ryu's favor. He plays so well with that crouching medium kick and the stand light kick. Of course, he can parry the Blanca balls, so he has ways defensively to keep Blanca out that other characters might struggle a bit. And as we can see right now already, he's just utilizing the EXDPs, the crouching medium kick, the fireballs, all these things to just take control. There's the sweep, and now he's looking to close this round out with losing barely any life, and he's just sitting in the driver's seat.
And you can see what there's such a good job he's doing because he has played this matchup a bunch, so he knows the answers to Blanca's options. So it's really in Muck's field to just kind of like see how can he work with these tools, how can he get in against someone who just honestly almost knows him like the back of his hand because they've just played so much. These are like the two, I think, like top Saskatchewan players, so they play each other all the time, as I've kind of highlighted already.
Yeah, for sure. And that's something, wow, just the DP absolutely ready to deal with the hop, the command hop that Blanca has in this game. Not able to get a punish there, but he's just blocking this out, and that is utilizing V-Gauge for Muckmaster, but man, that was a costly error. Okay, he puts him back in the corner out, and this is still a significant life lead. There's the throw tech, and he misses his DP, but no punish. He was too far away.
No baits it out. Now we are kind of reset back to neutral. Super Friends looking good, just trying to like work Muck towards the corner, but Muck, trying to dead kick these Blanca balls rather, trying to get in. But no, the blocks come down, B reversal, and this is actually kind of where Muck wants to be, but no, you don't get away with that jump for free. Muck has used that to great effect against some other people I've seen, but Super Friends is not the person you want to pull that up against. He's seen that just a couple times.
Yeah, once or twice. And so far in that first game, Muck was really clearly flustered. The approach on the ground was getting stuffed in so many different ways, whether it was fireball, whether it was DP and neutral, whether it was crouching medium kick or sweep or whatever it was. He was getting stopped at every single corner, so that's why he's starting to jump a lot. But you have to believe in your neutral. You have to believe in your ground game against a character like Ryu, because if you're jumping at him in obvious times, that's so much more damage than compared to most other characters.
No, exactly. And a lot of the stuff Super Friends is doing is kind of just those preemptive tools like you highlighted. So if Muck can find his windows to maybe bait those out or kind of play around those a bit better, he can get it. Because now he's answering the fireballs now. He answered the wake-up throw with that. And I think if he can continue down and along that train, it will look good. Because Super Friends is not really playing a reaction except for the anti-air DPs. So if Muck doesn't really get him the opportunity for that, I think he might be able to find his way to crush it.
Man, this is a tough call, though. He's able to slide underneath that, but at what cost? It doesn't matter. If even he gets that knockdown, there was still such a big mountain to climb, and Super Friends just denied him again and again. That is another round on the board. He's looking to go up 2-0 here in losers semifinals.
Looking good, It's looking to get that Saskatchewan team kill out of the way as soon as possible, but no, the crush counter comes down. This is what Muck needs. Pushing Super Friends into the corner, goes for the double side switch, but the B-ship comes down, and the DP signs his fate. And then we have just kind of reset back to neutral here. Goes for, I think he was trying to read on a fireball there, but doesn't work out. Baits out the DP, no punish.
So far, Super Friends has not had a single crosscut DP. It's all been incredibly quick to the draw, so he's not getting the opposite side when he goes over. And I would like to see that actually be an adaptation from Muck. Okay, is he able to get the... That was such a good V-shift break. He baits it out. Oh, this is a bad spot. Oh, he tried to go for the throw bait.
Okay, one more hit. It's all in Super Friends' favor. Now Muck just needs to find that hit. Get on the board. Don't go down. Early escapes from the corner. But we have reset down to the scariest situation you can be against Ryu. And he's going to have to go for a few hard reads to get him. Gets the knockdown. And doesn't quite kill off that. Pressure coming down and he just needs one more hit. But Super Friends is staying tight. Block on the overhead.
He's dead.
Fireball, and he knocks him down with the guard crush. But one more hit and he finishes off with the crouching jab. Are you kidding me? What was that fireball guard crush?
That's twice. He did it twice in that round. And that's him. You really hit the nail on the head, John. These two have played each other a million, billion, trillion times. And so you're going to see weird, quirky little nuances like that where it's like, I know that you know that I know, so I'm going to do this. And I bet that's not the last time we see an interaction like that, because we still got one more game to go. Some adaptation on the way from Muck's side, and I bet Super Friends will answer back.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's this little, like, they really understand where each other's mental stacks are on at the time, and that's how you can get away with that really risky long charge option, and it just works out great. And now it's kind of in Muck's favor. He gets the crush counter there, but I don't think that's conversion. What a bait it on the DP! That is an adaptation you were talking about earlier. It looks like he might have been making it finally. Double cross up. That was ambiguous. Oh my god, one more hit looking for the stun, but no cross get DP comes out this time, but no, has a DP of his own, and we're one hit away and punishes on the fireball. That was on reaction. That was
so late. I'm really surprised that that worked. That must have frame 1 projectile invulnerability. But for him to attempt that, I think is so important for how the rest of the set could go. It means that he's confident in his solutions. You know, we've seen some situations here where Muckmaster has seemingly been a bit apprehensive, you know, maybe a little reticent to try and go for certain things. But that right there is confident. He gets the back throw here. That is a stun. He's not going to be able to kill, but he will put him in a guess for game situation. This is a lot of damage.
Yeah, one more hit on the other side. Oh, throws him out of the overhead, and now Muck is stuck in the corner, but no block on the sweep. Great punish, and Muck has put himself on the board. I mean, as you highlighted, he has just made these great adaptations, because a lot of what Super Friends was doing was just preemptive tools, this preemptive fireballs, this preemptive keep out, and then reactionary DP every so often once he goaded Muck into a read.
Yes.
But then Muck, he changed his timing up. Actually, the little jump there where he goes on the ground and jumps straight in the air, I don't actually know what the move's called. That was the first time that hit. Every other time has Super Friends just waited and anti-aired it. But no, he got the read on the fireball this time, got his conversion, and that allowed him to just go in that crazy cross-up game we were seeing earlier. So if Muck is able to keep this reading on Super Friends timing, he's going to have great success.
That was a good chunk of damage there off of that anti-air. And suddenly, Muck is finding himself being a little more patient here. Now, just as I say that he tries to go for a jump, but he is willing to just kind of deal with these fireballs. He's willing, well, maybe I'm commentators cursing him because suddenly he's overextending in areas where maybe he doesn't have to. But there is the all-important V-trigger activation. Gets the knockdown there with the sweep. V-reversal right back at you from Super Friends. He baits it out, but no punish. You can punish that. Wow, what a big DP.
Oh, it's him out of the flip. Yeah, he's kind of like, I think Muck is really trying to call it the double fireball timing. That's what he seems to be really focusing on so far. And when it does work out, it's great. But a lot of times Super Friends is going different options, and he messed up the meaty.
Yeah, that situation right there, I think it would have been in his best interest to try and go for a cross-up safe jump, because he didn't have meter to EX's reversal, right? But maybe a little bit of jitters there. There's a waste of an EX. Oh, man. Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
He got
he doesn't
so
quite
lucky.
get the stun?
No, man, that punish there on the view reversal was almost right there.
Okay,
he's out of there. He's out of there.
He's out of there. Now he's sitting safe, but man, the life lead is just hugely in favor of Super Friends, and Muck has to take so many risks to get damage with how Super Friends is playing that Super Friends can kind of just throw these pokes, and if he gets damage, it's fine. And that anti-air, are you kidding me? Okay, finally gets
he's in the Matrix. My man is plugged in. He's sitting in the goop. He's like, I can see the code. I can jab on reaction with this full screen Blanca ball.
Yeah, he's activated. He's taken the
yeah. Okay.
Fireball, and that's it. And man, what just a key victory. So unfortunate we had to have the Saskatchewan team kill that early. Muck does go out, I think, with 25 points, and then actually is not going to be able to get him top 8, but I think that's going to put him somewhere from 10 to 13. I think 8 to 9th, somewhere in there. So if he is able to perform well in the next one, he might still be able to squeak into top 8, but that was kind of a really important victory to secure him that extra 5 points. Right. But this is also a really important win for Super Friends, because yet again, him and Lowinator are like neck and neck competing for 4th and 5th because Bumba and Noodle are missing today. Right. So with Super Friends taking that, he makes it into loser semifinals, and he's now sitting almost at the same amount of points as Lowinator, because the Lowinator, unfortunately, kind of got the easiest bracket you could imagine. He got the DQ, and he's in winner's finals. So I think that means he makes at least 30 points. So like, you're competing for it. You got to kind of hand it to you on a silver platter. I ain't gonna lie, but that's just how it goes sometimes.
Absolutely. Now, just to inform everybody, we are going to take a quick break here. Hang tight. Next match will be winners finals. And just to remind everybody too, White Gun does get a bye because Sarah Blast is not here. So just hang tight, get yourself a snack. It's going to be a quick, 2-3 minutes, something like that. And when we get back, we will have winners finals here, which will be
Lowinator versus Mortsy.
Yeah, Lowinator versus Mortsy. So sit tight. It's going to be a great match.